Hey guys, welcome to Outcast Fiction, where we're going to be breaking down the not so latest, but greatest stuff out there. Today I'm joined by my good friend Henry Henley.
What up?
And we are going to be talking about the 2022 film All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, I have pulled up a few stats about this film. Starred by Felix Kammerer. He plays Paul in it, the main guy. It is directed by Edward Berger. He is also very well known for his 2024 film Conclave, which I believe got
Did you see it?
I didn't actually.
I didn't either. No.
Did you? I heard people talk about
Good
it,
start,
so
dude.
I heard stuff. So I assume it's well known enough that he's on the map, let's just say. So production started in early 2021, and this budget was actually pretty low, only around 20 million, they said, which for reference, commercial like TV episode is on average 50 million each.
For like a popular TV series?
Yeah, for like an hour and a half episode.
That's pretty nice. How'd they do that? Was it just because they were in Germany, or?
I don't know. I think, well, part of that I think is this is a Netflix production, so per usual, we've got really just stripped down simplistic sets.
Partition stuff.
Yeah, which although it's pleasing to the eye and stuff, that's one critique I had of the film actually, is it's just like, sometimes for me, it's just a little there's too little detail because people are going to be watching it on their phones, on planes and stuff, like I may or may not have just done.
I thought it was really cool though, because the beginning part, it's just completely silent. And I thought my phone or my TV was broken or some point. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was cool. The little like foxes are like...
and then it was... it was just quiet, and then the shots come in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool. I mean, it was... Yeah, kind of terrifying too. But yeah, one interesting thing though is it's hard to judge the film's success because Netflix is really strict on their like what data they release financially, and it wasn't released in theaters. It was just a Netflix original, so it's hard to tell.
Okay.
There's basically not much box office info on it, but
that's fair.
Most people I've talked to have liked it. So one thing I wanted to talk about with this film was it's a very strongly, I believe it's a very anti-war film. I mean, it's based on the book, which is known for being an anti-war book. Because, I mean, you just see more and more just messed up shit happen to this guy.
I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, I watched All Quiet on the Western Front. It was bomb. And he's like, the one from like the 50s? I'm like, no. I didn't know this one, the movie was a remake of one that was like a black and white film back in the day. It was really old.
I heard of the old one.
Never seen it though. He was like, that one was boring. And I'm like, okay.
I thought,
well, this one was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I thought it was overall good. That was really my main critique, was the visuals of just being too simplistic. I will say though.
I loved it.
Okay, no. Overall though, I will say some of the shots, like when they're stealing the eggs from the farmhouse and the little kid shoots the one guy, those landscape shots were so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked the one where they see the tanks for the first time. They're all like peeking over, and they come through the fog.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was sick. That was really sick. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of nitpicky though. Just basing it on just those few things where it's just like in like the bunkers and stuff, it's just wood walls or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it was.
That is true. Yeah. One thing I thought they did a really good job on was the character development of Paul, which happens kind of quickly because he's like completely breaking down emotionally earlier in the film because he's like, let's go fight for the fatherland, and then all of a sudden he's just like, oh, we're actually going to be bailing out trenches and watching people explode.
Yeah. Well, none of them knew at that point. That's like when I was in middle school, I was huge. Like I was really into World War I stuff. Mm-hmm. And not in like a weird way, but there were like kids who were like World War II kids, and I was really into like that. I was like, this is so cool because my favorite game was Battlefield 1 at the time, and I was super obsessed with all like the World War I stuff. Yeah. And I remember looking stuff up, and I was like, oh man, all these inventions are so cool. And then there was a point at where this movie, I was like watching it, I was like, I understand why I was like interested in all this. Because like, a lot happens, and it's the war to end all wars, basically.
Yeah.
But
the
it
war
kind of did nothing.
It kind of began all wars, basically.
Yeah, and the amount of inventions that came out of that were crazy. Like tanks came out of it, gas came out of it.
Yeah, well, gas was banned pretty soon after.
It was banned before
God.
in like the Geneva Convention, but they didn't, which was like in the 1800s, but they didn't.
Well, yeah.
They didn't obey it, obviously.
Well, yeah,
Obviously.
that was one of the, especially gas and chemical warfare that just caused blindness. Thank goodness that got banned. 'Cause that's just another.
Thank God we're not fighting that anymore. Now we got drunk.
That's just another level of dehumanization. Just like you just get out on the front, your first day, you're just blinded.
First day on the front.
Yay! Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, fun fact. Later in the war in 1917, in April, after the Americans joined, they had I don't know about the other countries. The other countries had a way of like telling when gas was coming, but the U.S. used slugs, because the slugs would like bunch up whenever the. You know how they use like canaries in like coal mining?
Oh yeah.
Like some animals could detect when it was coming by, but the American soldiers used slugs. And
that's genius.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, no, and they were like apparently much more efficient than any bird was or any other animal.
Wow.
But yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's really cool how people figured those things out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, I would just, I would die. I would die. Yeah. No, it's interesting though, because as I was saying, Paul gets so like hardened instantly, just like his character, like he's just stone cold after that. It's like instantly sets in, which is kind of sad, but it does. I was like, okay, is he going to become, because I was not familiar with the story going into watching this. It's like, is he going to become like this super cold, just like messed up guy in the war? Yeah. But he's still like, is just absolutely devastated. One thing that this was a big point of it being anti-war and showing that he's still like a good person, was after he's like playing, I don't know if you remember the scene, he's in a massive shell hole when the tanks are chasing them.
And he stabs the dude?
Yeah, and the French guy's about to kill him, and he stabs the guy, and then the guy's like slowly dying. It's really gross. And he's like...
And he like realizes like...
I know, and he breaks down, and he's like, the guy was going to kill me, but I did the same to him. Like, this is what we're facing. And then he pulls out the picture of the guy's wife and kids, and he's like, oh my gosh. And then, the guy eventually dies, but it just tears him up inside.
Spoiler.
Yeah, oh shoot.
It came out 2 years ago. It's fine.
I mean, 2-3 years ago, yeah.
No. My favorite character was the dude who like tears off the picture of the one girl, like Kop. That's the one part I remember from the entire movie is him talking, and he's like, Kop. That's my name, Kop. I was like, that was stuck in my head for like weeks.
Oh my gosh. I really liked the one guy who kind of, I think this was the guy who kind of befriended them at their first time in the trenches early in
the dude who stole the goose.
Cat, I think his name is. Yeah, who stole the eggs and the goose. Yeah. Who eventually, that was, oh my gosh. Rip. When he got shot by the farmer's son, that was rough way to go out at the end of the war.
I think that's a rough way for anybody to go.
Well, yeah, that's true. Oh man. Yeah, but that was another point of, which is very realistic, of how much the war was fueled by just ego and nationalism, is the ending scene, which as far as I know is pretty historically accurate, where the German general is like, all right, you're going out with glory.
Yeah.
One last charge, and Paul dies in this last charge. Just gets skewered by a bayonet.
But he gets into the bunker, and I'm like, he's going to take this guy. And the dude comes up from behind him and stabs him. I'm like, man.
Yeah, but I mean, that was really accurate, because I remember learning in high school, we did a little bit of time on World War I. Yeah, we served some time in World War I.
I served my time.
No, but we were talking about this one French general. I think his name was Robert Nivelle or something. He was serving on the Western Front, I believe, and within, I believe it was slightly more than a month, he lost 187,000 men. Because he would not stop, he would not retreat. Like, he kept on trying to advance. And I think it was by the end of the war, I know they say this in the end credits of the movie, like, the front line had only moved, like,
miles.
Yeah, it was a matter of, like, miles. It was so trench warfare was just so standstill.
Yeah, it was.
If you're up, you're dead. If you're down, you're just staying
everybody just kept creating things. Like you saw the scene with the tanks.
Yeah.
Of where they came over and they were just obliterating everything, and you think they would have just kept going.
Yeah.
But by the time they get really far, the Germans or whoever was because the Allied made the tanks first, but the Germans stole the design basically and was like, hey, this is a really good idea, and just did the exact same thing, and it put them at the exact same level.
And the same thing happened with flamethrowers. They were developed by the Germans, and then the French took their design. And so it was basically just trading off technology for technology. Literally the whole point of the war was
nowhere.
It was complete standstill. It's actually, and another thing they played in the end credits was, I think 3 million men died at the Western Front.
Jeez. I thought it would have been more. Not to say that that's not a lot of people, but I would have figured.
That's just that little area.
Yeah, Eastern Front though was crazy, just because it was the Russians and like the Hungarians and stuff like that.
That was just that small area though, I believe, because overall, I don't know the numbers on the.
I don't think there's enough movies about the Eastern Front. It's all about the Western Front. Eastern Front was with Russia and Austria-Hungary and like.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, they should. I want to say I saw something about one in one of those YouTube videos where it's like historian reacts to how historically accurate.
Yeah.
Which, it was funny, I actually saw, he reacted to a clip from this movie and he said something about the order in which the tanks and the flame troopers came in was kind of...
It's so nitpicky, dude.
But it's the overall premise...
This wasn't exactly accurate.
The overall premise of the film, though, was meant to be, I feel like, it was a little more poetic, more of sending a message than... It really wasn't, like, supposed to be a history book. Necessarily, it was more of just because I believe it's historical fiction. I mean,
historical to the point of like this happened, like that, like the book I gave you that was
Farewell to Arms.
Farewell to Arms. Yeah. Yes, like it's a fictional story.
Yeah,
but we know that the Italians were involved in World War I.
Yeah, and we know the details surrounding the character could have been true for any given person in their position. Like for example, the main character in Farewell to Arms. He's the ambulance driver. He gets unlucky. He gets hit by a shell. Like that was a very real experience for a lot of people. But it's just when it's told through someone's eyes like that personally, that's how it really hits different. And that's what anti-war pieces like that are about. Kind of similar to, have you seen We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson?
No.
It's the Vietnam one.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
It's really good. It'll tear you up though. It's like very, very realistic to like how hard it was for those guys fighting, and like told through showing their personal lives, and like when they die, showing their families getting the letter telling that they passed.
I feel like it's always either war is like super epic or war is just like the worst thing ever. I'm siding on the war is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I feel like for some reason, maybe it's just because that era of history is romanticized a lot, but World War II, I feel like, has a lot more war is awesome. Yeah. World War I think everybody just agrees that was the most vile shit ever. But like...
Well, there wasn't really any point to it. It was just a bunch of guys that were just like...
I have an alliance since you probably assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Gavrilo Princip. That was the guy that killed Franz Ferdinand. And I saw a bunch of these things where it was just like a bunch of people blaming him for like, he's the reason that all this happened. And I'm like, I think it would have happened anyway. Because all the people there were already like begging for war. So. Yeah.
Tensions were already kind of rising. So yeah, it was just, I feel like it had been long enough without there was the Civil War, but that's like, what, you got like, over
the American Civil War?
Yeah, the American Civil War. Like that was in my mind at least, that's the only like those two conflicts are kind of like, I don't see a huge one in between there.
World War I and Civil War and World War I.
Yeah, like
Mexico-American War.
Oh, that is true.
But that wasn't huge.
But like the Civil War was like insane, like in terms
Texas
of numbers
Revolution
as well.
too. That's how we got Texas. But in numbers, but like, I agree.
Yeah. That scale of conflict. So I feel like so much technology had built up in the meantime, people just hadn't used it in war before. So it was like, kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's like, let's try this out. Oh, that's
not a good idea.
That absolutely destroyed that guy.
A fun fact about the shift between the Mexico-American War and World War I. In World War I, when the Americans joined in like 1917, they used the Springfield 1903, which it was like the basic rifle that everybody where they put in the bullets in the top and whatnot.
Oh, like bolt action?
Yeah. But during the Mexico-American War, it was a dump rifle, which is a funky thing because it's got this contraption on the side where it's like a funnel and you just grab a handful of bullets and you throw it in the side of the gun.
Weird.
Which is super weird, but I was like, that always looked really cool to me. But now that I look at it now, I'm like, that looks really stupid.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, you definitely, I think it was World War II, you get the M1 Garand, which that was like one of the first big like semi-auto weapons that really changed the game. Because I was noticing, I was like, dang, we're like, soldiers these days are so used to having like automatic options versus then it's like, there's all these guys coming.
Germany near the end of World War I had like the MP-18, I believe, which was like one of the first submachine guns ever made.
Because that led up to the MP-40, which literally any World War II
thing coming out the side.
Yeah, any World War II movie where they're storming a house, they got like that.
Yeah.
So do you have any closing thoughts on the movie? You've seen it more times than I have.
I got nothing. I loved it though. I watched it mainly on my phone, like you were saying, with like the shots and stuff like that. But I loved it. Every time I watch it, I love it. I encourage you all out there, all you 3 to 4 listeners, go watch it. Seriously, it's really cool. Came out a couple years ago. I don't know how many awards it won, but it's bomb.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's well worth a watch. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's not backbreakingly long, but it's really a beautiful piece of art at the end of the day with a great message and incredible acting. So get out there and watch that. Thank you for watching this
episode.
Well, we will catch you guys in the next episode.